You know what's interesting? Most people believe compounding only works if you're already earning something like $100,000 a year. Like, unless you have a six-figure salary or some kind of trust fund, there's no way your money can grow on its own. But that's not actually true. You don't need to be rich to make compounding work for you. Even if you're paying around $1,500 in rent, spending close to $2,000 on monthly bills, and you're left with just $100 at the end of the month, that's still enough to get started. Welcome to the real world, where small actions turn into big financial results over time. Today, I'm going to show you the minimum amount you really need to activate compounding in real life. So stick around, because by the end, I'll explain how a few extra dollars can eventually earn more money for you than you could ever save by yourself. And if you want to start building real momentum with your finances, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with someone who keeps saying they'll start someday. Let's get into it. Most people think compounding is something that only benefits the wealthy. You've probably heard advice like, let your money work for you. Sounds great, until you look at your bank account and see only $300 in savings. Then it starts to feel like a joke. Like, what money is supposed to work and how? And that's exactly why so many people never begin investing. You tell yourself, I'll invest when I start earning more. I'll start next year, maybe after I move or switch jobs. But next year becomes the year after that, and before you know it, time has passed and you're still waiting for the perfect moment. And that's the real trap. Here's the truth. Compounding isn't about how much you earn, it's about how early you start and how consistent you stay. The people who succeed financially aren't always the highest earners. They're usually the ones who started sooner, stayed disciplined, and didn't keep pulling money out every time they wanted the latest phone or a better car. Let's make compounding easy to understand. Imagine standing at the top of a hill with a tiny snowball in your hand. As you roll it downhill, it starts picking up small bits of snow. At first, the growth is slow, almost unnoticeable. But if you keep pushing, something changes. The snowball gets bigger, heavier. Now it's not just you putting in the effort anymore. The snow begins to stick faster, momentum builds, and eventually the snowball almost starts rolling on its own, growing with every turn. That's exactly how compounding works. In the beginning, it feels slow and honestly a little boring, which is why most people quit too soon. But if you keep going, there comes a point where your money doesn't need constant attention anymore. It starts growing by itself. So the real question is, how long does it take to reach that point? Because let's be honest, most people don't stop investing because they're lazy. The real reason most people give up isn't laziness. It's because life is expensive. Right now in the US, credit card interest rates are no joke. Many cards are sitting somewhere between 20 to 30% APR. So if you're carrying something like a $5,000 balance, you could be paying over $100 every single month just in interest and still barely making a dent in what you actually owe. And rent? In a lot of major cities, even $2,000 a month won't get you anything close to luxury. But this is exactly why understanding your first financial milestone matters, because once you reach it, everything starts to change. Most people jump straight to the idea of investing for $1 million. They say it like it's something you can just order off a menu. Yeah, I'll start when I'm working toward a million. And don't get me wrong, $1 million is a great goal. But if you're just starting out, it can feel so far away that it becomes discouraging. And when a goal feels impossible, people usually don't even try. So let's take a smarter approach. Instead of only focusing on the $1 million finish line, let's figure out how much you actually need to invest to get there. Assume you're putting your money into a broad stock market index fund. Historically, the market has returned about 10% annually before inflation and closer to 7% after inflation. To keep things simple, let's meet in the middle and use 8%. Here's where it gets interesting. If your goal is to have $100,000 in 30 years, earning an average of 8% return, you'd roughly need $100,000 invested today to get there. Now that still sounds like a lot, but here's why this number is so powerful. If you invest $1,000 and earn 8% in a year, that's just $80. You probably wouldn't even notice it. If you invest $10,000, that same 8% gives you $800. Better, but still not life-changing. At $50,000 invested, 8% turns into $4,000 per year. Now it's starting to feel meaningful. But at $100,000 invested, an 8% return gives you about $8,000 every year without working any extra hours. That's when the shift happens. Over time, those returns start earning their own returns. Remember the snowball effect? By year 30, the gap becomes massive because your growth has been compounding on itself the entire time. And the moment you see your account increasing by thousands of dollars without you trading more time for money, you'll realize that $100,000 is the real tipping point. Now, you might be thinking, okay, $100,000 sounds amazing, but how do I get there if I'm not earning that much right now? That's a fair question, because most financial advice assumes you have tons of extra cash lying around. So let's break it down realistically. If you invest $1,000 per month at a 7% return, you could reach $100,000 in about 7 years. That's fast, but for many people, not very practical. If you invest $500 per month at that same 7%, you'd reach $100,000 in around 11 years, just over a decade. That's much more doable if you're trying to grow your money steadily over time. But if you want to build your first $100,000 without feeling like you're giving up your entire lifestyle in the process, there are 3 key moves you need to understand first. The first move is automation, and this one is non-negotiable. Some months you feel disciplined, you invest. Other months life gets stressful, expenses pop up, and investing suddenly feels optional. Automation removes the emotion from the equation. If your paycheck hits on Friday, your investment should leave that same Friday, automatically. No debating, no I'll do it later, even if it's just $100. Consistency beats intensity every time. The second move is increasing your income strategically. A lot of people assume the only way to earn more is by working 70 to 80 hours a week. That's not the smartest route. The faster way is to monetize a skill you already have. If you're good at speaking, you could tutor or coach. If you know graphic design, start freelancing online. If you're organized, help small businesses or busy professionals manage paperwork. You don't need an extra $2,000 a month to change your future. Even an additional $200 per month invested consistently can dramatically speed up your timeline. The third move is plugging financial leaks. These are the quiet expenses that drain your progress: forgotten subscriptions, random service fees, impulse purchases, convenience spending. If you're losing $150 to $300 per month to things you barely notice, that adds up to $1,800 to $3,600 per year. That's serious money. If you're serious about building your first $100,000 on an average income, you can't ignore that. It's not about extreme frugality, it's about not giving away money that could be compounding for you. When you combine automation, smarter income growth, and cutting hidden leaks, the timeline speeds up. The goal isn't to magically wake up with $100,000 next year. The goal is to stop living in a way that guarantees you'll never reach it. And this becomes more important as you age, because waiting has a cost, and that cost compounds too. To put it into perspective, only a small percentage of American workers have over $100,000 saved for retirement. Many people in their 50s have balances well below that. That often means relying heavily on Social Security later in life. The average Social Security benefit is roughly $1,900 per month, about $23,000 per year. That's closer to basic survival than financial freedom. So when we talk about reaching your first $100,000 early, we're not just talking about a number. We're talking about building the foundation that allows compounding to actually work before retirement sneaks up on you. Because the older you get, the less time you have to recover from mistakes. And that brings us to one of the biggest threats to compounding. Even if you automate, even if you invest consistently, even if you increase your income, compounding only works if you leave the money alone. The moment you constantly pull it out, you interrupt the snowball. Here's how it usually happens. You start investing at 25, things go well, your account grows, then the market drops, headlines get scary, fear kicks in, you panic and sell. You wait for things to feel safe again, but by the time it feels safe, the market has already recovered and now you're buying back in at higher prices. That's the classic mistake, selling low and buying high. Compounding isn't just math, it's emotional discipline. It tests whether you can stay calm when everyone else is panicking. So the real question is this: are you going to start rolling your snowball today, or are you going to stand at the top of the hill waiting for the perfect time that never comes? Compounding rewards action. It rewards consistency. And most of all, it rewards patience. The people who win aren't the loudest. They're the ones who quietly stayed invested long enough for the multiplier to finally kick in. Building your first $100,000 is the toughest phase, and that's completely normal. This is the stage where you are doing most of the work. You're saving consistently, investing regularly, and staying disciplined even when the progress feels slow. It can seem like nothing is happening at first, but once you finally cross that $100,000 mark, everything starts to shift. Your investments begin to grow faster. The results become more noticeable. And for the first time, it doesn't feel like you're just trading time for money anymore. You're creating a system where your money starts working for you. That's when the real momentum begins. If this video helped you see compounding in a new way, make sure to hit the like button so this message can reach more people who need it. Subscribe for more practical finance videos every week. And drop a comment below. What's the one step you're taking this week to move